weekly show is back, folks. We're finally getting one done, and we're back into the finals, top 4. Well done to the club, given all the circumstances surrounding it. So a qualifying final coming up against the Lions, and of course, what better way to talk about it than with CB17 and TIG71. Welcome, fellas.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Good evening.
No, it's been a long time. Well, we've been doing a lot of live shows as of late, which have been a huge hit. But there's been a big cry out for one of these weekly ones, so we thought we'd better get stuck into it.
Yeah, I miss doing them. It's good, just to break the monotony of the week and get us ready for next week, which is going to be epic.
It's going to be very, very good. Before we get stuck into it, though, CB, did you want to do the bloodbath off the top? I know I put it at the top of the agenda, but I did have a question mark next to it, so I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to do it now, or do you want to hold on to it?
Tom Hawkins.
I'll take that as
bravo. Bravo, mate. Bravo.
Tom Hawkins. Right now, he's the dirtiest player in the league.
Yep.
How can he get away with blatantly pushing players into packs unprotected? Where's his duty of care? It's dangerous and it seriously needs to be looked at. But who am I kidding? He plays for Geelong, the most protected club in the league.
And Wankley Wheatley. I rang that radio station.
So did I. I spoke to Tim and Gary about it.
I spoke to Wankley, and he just ignored me. He just spoke about the free kick that Pawkins gave away. Mate. Look, people cry about Grimes. They cried about the things our players do. Dustin Martin, tapped someone in the stomach. We should crucify him at the back of the MCG car park. But you've got Hawkins here. He waits till he gets side on with his defender, and he's hoping to get the cheap seagull ball out the back. So he shoves his defender. He's going to get a defender knocked unconscious by doing that.
That one with McCartan was worse. I know Soldo did his knee, but the one with McCartan on the weekend, that was actually downright dangerous.
It was.
That could have injured him. But anyway, I want to do the next part now.
Yeah.
West Coast Whiner supporters and other associated dickheads.
Yeah.
So in 2017, we won the flag because of a home ground advantage. In 2019, it was our home run of games at the MCG, even though Collingwood had a greater run in 2010, but they don't talk about that. Well, guess what this year is, fellas? Can anyone guess?
No, go on.
Just quickly, Collingwood actually played one more extra MCG game than we did last year. So, sorry. Go ahead. What is this year, mate?
It's actually breaks between games. That's why we're third. It's not because we're any good.
Okay.
Yep. So, but I'm going to put something out there. So the Eagles have played in 2 states this year. They've played in Western Australia and Queensland. And that includes 7 games at Optus Stadium. And even then, they tried to purchase another game against North in the final home and away. Now, compare that to the Tigers, who've played games in Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia twice, and the Northern Territory. And we only got 4 games at the MCG and 1 at Marvel. I mean, even Brisbane at least played in 3 states, being Vic, Tas and Northern Territory. But I'll give Port Adelaide a pass mark because they've actually travelled and done well. But the point is, there are no excuses for West Coast. Even with their advantage this year, you're a self-entitled pack of wankers, and you know what? I hope the Pies smoke you on your home deck. And finally, good. Mitch Robinson. Don't you dare backtrack now, you wanker. Your day of reckoning's coming.
Yeah. I just saw that Twitter conference, whatever it was, that news conference. How on earth did he get up to that? We're going to target Lachie Neale. Like, where has that ever come out of the club? That we're going to punt. No, they're just trying to create the narration of, there's a saying in Spain. I'll translate it in English, but the smallest dog barks the loudest, and that's exactly what they did. They're shitting themselves. So like a little chihuahua, they're doing the first couple of barks.
I reckon they're trying to get it in line with the umpires as well, just so they look for any remote contact on Lachie Neale, and you watch us get stung for it. But all Richmond supporters know that we've never tagged him. I think someone tweeted us that the last few times we've played him, he's had 57 touches, 36 and 26. We don't give a shit if he gets the ball.
We ignore him. Yeah, but I'll tell you, Mitch, mate, brace yourself, son. You better be holding your ankles, because if there's going to be any player we're going to be targeting, it's going to be you, mate. I wouldn't wander near the forward line.
My fantasy My fantasy is a high ball into our
Oh.
forward line, and he's got to stand in the hole with Tom Lynch on the lead coming at him.
Yeah,
That's my fantasy right now.
Mate, and then I'll just say, don't worry about the ball. Just lift with your knees, mate. Lift with your knees.
I hope he does like a Gary Ablett in 1989 Grand Final dipper. Just goes in 2 knees forward and just poleaxes him.
I hope he does a Hawkins, because Hawkins just said he's a dirty player, and he is. But he always goes with those knees to hurt, right? Now he's just obviously had that extra layer of just pushing blokes and getting away with it. But, yeah, I hope, Mitch Robertson will get his. The best revenge we can get is hopefully they kick accurately, but we still beat them by 40, 50 points. And we have the game to do it. They're not particularly great on the turnover. They cannot defend as well as they think. They generally, because of the amount of ball that they get and it plays in their forward half, that protects their back half. But when they come up a side like ours, who can easily go from our back half to their forward half, they can be exposed and easily exposed. So, if we can beat them by about 4 or 5 goals, that'd be fantastic.
That would be good. Was there anything else from the Bloodbath CB?
No, we're done.
I want to do a bit of a public service announcement, which sort of came to light today. And I put out a tweet about it too. But I think all Richmond supporters know, 2 or 3 people who tend to think that the umpires have gifted us every win that we've ever had across every, the past 4 seasons. It's always, we were kissed on the dick. It was, lucky to get that free kick, this free kick. So the free kick differential tally comes out today. And in 2020, we're 17th with minus 58. In 2019, we were 12th with minus 24. And 2018, we were last with minus 120. And in 2017, we were last with minus 66. So to all
I'm
the dickheads,
shocked to be sitting here.
So to all the clowns out there who think that we get a good run with the umpires and that's why we win games, pull your head in. It's not why. It's because we're better than your shit team.
But you know what they'll say? But you know what they say? They'll say, "Oh yeah, but really we get a ride because it's the non-calls."
That's exactly right. It's the ones they don't pay. It's the ones they don't pay.
And I'm going to public service announcement if I can, Michaels, please. It's something that I feel it's really important that it resonate to all of our listeners.
Yes.
On behalf of all the Richmond faithful, I just want to say this. Suck my yellow and black balls, Essendon. You came into this season thinking that you're going to make finals. You came into this season with an arrogance, with a contempt, thinking it's just going to be nice and easy. And you know why you thought it would be nice and easy? Instead of doing the hard work and building your own culture from within, you've just decided to go pinch some of our talent and our IP from the Richmond Football Club. But what you didn't realise, that without the work, without the actual personnel, it's all for naught. So really, suck my balls. You suck.
And Jake Stringer. Jake Stringer, it's called salad, you fat prick.
Yeah, I'm glad you are finishing where you are. And you know what it is? You know what's even worse? Even in our shit years, our players stayed around. Why? Because they love the club. Even if they were shit, but your players realise how shit you are, and they can't even stand you blokes.
Yeah,
right?
you know what?
Even.
And furthermore, fuck you, Essendon. I'll go even further. You won your last flag in the year 2000. So you've gone 20 years with no success. You haven't won a final since 2004. You got 12 players walking out of your club. You're fucked for another decade. Yep. So we're talking 30 years. 30 years coming up for you pricks. You want to talk about our 37? I give you the tip. You're going to give it a hell of a ride, guys. So enjoy it. Enjoy my yellow black balls teabag in your mouth as well.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so fuck you, Essendon.
Fuck you, Essendon.
And also, Carlton, go get fucked too in Geelong. You make me sick, right? You Geelong, you fucking manicured, fucking metrosexual. Yeah, that's it. Selwood's going to retire. Abbott's going to retire. Your whole list is 38 years of age.
Enjoy your trip to hell, you Enjoy that trip down to Adelaide and getting smashed. I can't wait.
I can't wait.
All right.
Thank you for looking it off the chest.
Pretty good summation, I think. I think you've got everyone that you needed to get.
Do we mention that it should come with a warning, like a language warning?
I'll type that when I post it.
Oh, nice point out.
We'll touch on the round 18 game quickly against the Crows. Very good win, and as we sort of spoke about off air, it was to Adelaide's credit. I know that they got touched up, but it was a pretty good hit out in terms of their intensity at the contest. But a good win to lock up third spot on the ladder, which is our sweet spot, really. Let's be honest. But how good was it having Edwards and Asprey back in the side? I don't think they missed a beat. I thought they were both pretty good.
Oh, it was like sexual ice cream. You know what I mean? Sexual ice cream. Look, I've got a rap for Edwards, right? I call him Footy Jesus because that's what he is. You know, where you think the contest is dead, he just resurrects it and just gets out of handball and off we go. He's just brilliant. And Asprey is really important to us. He allows our backline to become from a defensive weapon to more of an offensive weapon. Look, Adelaide, credit to you. You know, you haven't got the history of a Red Rooster franchise. You know, you got less than one, but you really put in a bit of heart. And I love you guys for that third quarter smacking into us. That was perfect preparation for us. So look, you're on the right track. If you do it as a cornerstone, if they go in and play that way for the rest of the year, they'll beat more sides than that they lose, regardless of the cattle they have. So I'm pretty bullish on Adelaide next year. But no, it was a great game. We needed it. Look, Caddy, credit to him. He that great first goal, and then he got injured and still went out. Joel had a shitter. But the thing is that, and I was sort of putting on posting in a bit of his defence, he was playing against Talia.
Good defender,
He's never
Talia.
played. Yeah, well, he's their best defender. Let's be realistic. So he's never had the number one defender before, right? So he's one Achilles heel to me, and it's not courage. I just don't know if it's just he's not used to doing this because of his agility. He's able to get over the top of players because of his height when you're playing the VFL. So he doesn't have to do the body-on-body sort of stuff. So he was getting pushed down a lot, and it was really bothering him, and he was giving up on a few contests. That's what was shitting me off. Hopefully the coaches have really ran that on, that you can't do that in finals because that's a non-finals type. That's non-Richmond way. Even if you're losing, you can still make an effort. Just look at Arts. If he's going to lose a contest, he still gives his all to try to win that contest back. So Joel has got oodles of talent. He's just got to realise that when it's hard, he's just got to dig in. And he's got to do the uncomfortable, which is bashing into blokes. And Graham, mate, he's just getting better. And people crying about all these nuff saying, he's been dropped, so he'll leave. His form is better now after he's been dropped because he was dropped. And he was dropped, obviously, for development. We're developing the kid. He's only 22. We're giving him grounding. We're making sure that he knows what he's got to get better at, and he's going from strength to strength. So, now, overall, I was wrapped with the side.
And CB, I know you're a bit of a fanboy of Arts. What did you make of his game?
Fantastic. How is his work rate watching him deep in the defensive areas?
Through the roof.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden, he's like the Energizer Bunny, and here he's in the forward line contesting.
Very
he was
Lambert-esque, the running power he had in that game,
Yeah.
which I was really enjoying.
He's running power, and his running patterns are off the charts. But I will say this too. It was interesting to note with Edwards back in the team that Kane Lambert got off the chain a little bit on the weekend as well.
Yeah.
So that was really, really pleasing. But I will say this about Edwards. He's like our football Viagra. He really does help us get up.
But you know what's even more exciting?
That's terrible, isn't it?
We haven't
It's fair
seen...
enough. It's a good call. I think there'll be no one disagreeing with that.
But you know what's really, really positive for me? We haven't seen Edwards and Shai Bolton in the centre together yet.
Yes. That's
And
really
both of them are very similar in the sense that Edwards' hands are elite, right? Absolutely fucking elite. I can't wait for Shai to learn off Edwards in a full preseason, full year, when they're playing game after game together. And then, it's just going to be, we're going to have it on the left flank and the right flank in the centre square. We're going to have two magicians. It's just going to be so great.
All right, well, we'll move on to a bit of a season discussion. The home and away season's obviously done and dusted. We've wrapped up a third spot in a season like absolutely no other. The media were the ones to write us off early on. I think Tim Gossage had a crack at us. Matty Lloyd had a crack at us. Brad Johnson never tips us. The list goes on. You could name them all.
Can I just bring up my favourite quote of the year? Actually, Tim Gossage and Lloydie have both provided the two best quotes of the year. Lloydie, when he came out earlier and said that Brandon Ellis was closer to a flag than the Richmond guys, that is up there with one of the best calls I've ever heard. Thank you, Lloydie. Thank you.
But where's the improvement come from? I mean, we had a lot of injuries throughout the year. We haven't played one genuine home game. All the games in Melbourne were co-tenant MCG games. So we've done it. Other teams, not just us, other teams have done it the hard way as well. But a lot of people wrote us off very early on in the year. So where's the improvement come from us in 2020, CB?
So I reckon our list profile. So if you look at the way we've drafted, traded, recruited, I think it's actually our list profile is what's it's the natural improvement. So it is. If you look at the improvement of Soldo, Baker, Bolter, Rioli, George, Shorty, Ross, Higo, I could keep going on. All those guys, they're all 22 and under, right? So they've all got that much more improvement again. They haven't even hit their peak. They've still got 3 or 4 years of development. And Jack Graham, chuck him in there. They've got another 2 years, 3 years of development, and then they peak as footballers. So naturally, if they keep improving year on year on year on year, that is where we get it. So it's not through anything fabulous or wonderful. It's the off-field stuff combining with the on-field. So to me, it's the list profile and their natural development, which is seeing us continually improve and stay at the top of the pack.
And Tiggs, I want to give you credit here because you might remember this, CB, early on in our first few shows of the year, when we were looking a bit sluggish, Tiggs, you put your balls on the line and come out and said that you felt that we were doing a bit of a heavier training load, or your sort of info had led you to believe that, and that we were going to start powering on as the year went on and to make sure we hit our straps at the right time. And it's played out exactly that way. And
in relation to, I'm a bit different from Seb. I agree with everything he said, but what I believe where our improvements come from, when we had the injuries, without Caracella, we haven't got Truck. People underestimated it.
We winning games of footy without Caracella. I thought he coached their flags.
I know. So Hardwick and the coaching group, they've rejigged our game plan slightly, right? Obviously, we've got to keep on evolving. The problem, though, is with COVID, when the guys can only train once a week as a group, it took longer for them to put it on. Plus, we were behind the 8 ball in relation to fitness. So there was a lot of hurdles early part of the year, and we just pulled the trigger on and said, well, you know what? We're going to ride it out. We're good enough to win more than that we lose, and that should see us through. But what I'm seeing now is that our game plan is bedded down. We now know, okay, how to defend, when to go off. We've put in an edge and another level of offensiveness into our back line. We're a lot more attacking than we were. Some of our ball movement, this is what makes me chuckle. Everyone talks about Caracella. Oh, ball movement. Here was our ball movement. Oh! This year, particularly in the last part of the year, our ball movement from the back line has been the best it's ever been. Have you seen how lightning? We can get it from the half back line, you blink and it's in their forward line. That's without Caracella's input. And that's obviously with the evolution of how we've set up our game plan. So, no, and, we've just got really great kids. We've got a great recruiting team. They've identified decent talent. We've got these poor kids like RCD and the like that that are putting pressure that, they deserve to be getting games. So, but what they've done is the standards of training are a lot higher because these kids aren't shit. So they're not training with shit. That's why teams like Carlton don't improve. Is because they're training against shit, right? So they look good in the training track because their competition, their 30-plus player down on the list is shit. Our 30-plus player down on our list is fucking all right. We'll be in most sides 22, and that's, obviously it's a circle that we've sort of developed. So, we're doing really well.
No, we're tracking nicely. I thought we'd also do a bit of a closer look at the team by line. Each of us have been assigned a line, especially just because it's the end of the year. We thought we'll take a bit of a closer look. So, TIG71, you've got the defenders. So we've got, what have we got? 4 questions. 1, 2, 3, if I can count. Yep. For each line. So for the defenders, Tiggs, what have you seen as the strengths of our defensive line this year?
Our ability to maintain our width and space. Which is really important. Now, what I mean by that is as forwards push up the ground, we have the courage to hold our structure behind the ball. And by holding our space, we dare the kicker of the opposition actually to kick in. And the perfect game this is on display was against Geelong, with Hawkins Island, right? I went on the Geelong board and I was very bullish that Hawkins Island won't even survive it. And, bullshit, you can't run that fast. I said, no, you have no idea. So that's one level of strength. Our ability of holding our space allows our defenders to be able to support each other pretty easily because they know where they're going to be. That's the key. The other big strength that we've developed, which is really exciting me, is the absolute speed in our back line. And not just ball movement, but foot speed. So you've got really fast players in there like Hawley, you've got Short, you've got Baker who can do pretty quick on the burst. You've got Bolter, who's pretty smart, pretty fast. You've got Markov when he played is quick. Grimes is no slouch. Vlosten can run when he needs to. So, and all of them that I've made, the 6 people I've just called, can all kick the ball a country mile. So we've now got the ability to, once we've got the ball, to burst out into a bit of space and then thump it right over the defensive press. And that's helping us getting all these repeat inside 50s. It's sort of hurt us a little bit, our conversion rate, because we're now more inside 50s than we have been, and we're not converting as much. But that will come when you guys discuss the forward. But those two are probably our main strength. And the last strength I'll put, probably the third point, is our overall belief and experience of playing together. That you can't undersell it. They've played together, most of them, for 6 years now, and I'm talking, your Grimes, your Asprey, Vlosten, Short. But what those 4 allow us to do is when we bring a new player in, they pick up our system really quickly. So Baker now feels like he's been in defence, for 5 years. Bolter, it's not even his first year as a full back, and he feels like he's been doing it for years. And that's what's, a major strength of ours as well.
All right, CB, you've got the forwards. What's been the strength of our forward line this year?
Well, I'll go a little bit different. As you know, I like to not follow the script. So I just had to think about our forward line. Yeah. So I sort of had to think about our forward line and sort of thought from where we started to where we are now. And I think the forward line, the issues around it was a little bit different. So I thought, and I'll be interested if you guys agree, but the issue for our forwards at the start and what we've improved on was our actual ball delivery into the forward line. I think we've addressed that. So from our midfield, remember we were struggling that last kick into the forward 50. That was killing us, and I think we've addressed that to a bit. So I think that sort of that was our Achilles heel, which we've addressed, and our accuracy. It's no surprise all of a sudden we're kicking far more accurately the last month than we have all year. So they're getting their mojo there. So the synergy's good. I think our one wood's our pressure. I think that's our – actually, we've got 2 one woods. I reckon our forward line pressure, so Rioli, Arts and George, if you notice, they're starting to fire now. Rioli, Rioli's been hammered all year, but I think he's put a really good last month of footy, and he's starting to turn it around, and he's starting to impact the scoreboard. We discussed Arts. He was wonderful. And even George, if you ever look at George, his last month, defensively, he's up and about. So Castagnas – So those guys are really starting to get moving. Our big guys, finally, Jack Rewalt's over his knee issues. How much of a different footballer has he looked in the last month?
Yeah, he's back to his 2017-18 best.
Yeah, he's finally jumping again. And keep in mind with Lynch, like he's had a 30 goal season, and that's with a busted hand, and he's done a hammy as well. So even Lynch has put in a very, very good season. So I think the strengths of our line is our forward pressure and our contested marking. The weakness, I think we're addressing the weakness. The weakness was our goal accuracy and our pressure, but we've addressed that through reasons which Tiggs has actually covered as well. What's the main thing you want to see improve in finals for our forward line? I think we just need to keep converting. If we can hit Brisbane between the eyes early and get those first 2 or 3 shots on the board, then I think that'll go a long way to actually breaking them down very, very early in the game. And the shining light for 2020 has to be Jacob Arts in our forward line. His development has been off the charts.
Very good. Even though you just went rogue on me and went ahead and did all the rest of yours while I was going one by one, but all very good. No, Arts is... I like Arts. He's another gem that we've found. I've got the midfield, so the strengths for the midfield, I think it's clearly been our ability to put pressure on the opposition midfielders all over the ground. Graham has highlighted this. He's been the highest ranked pressure player since round 9 onwards, which is a huge effort, competition-wide. Not just us, but the whole lot. We don't lay a lot of tackles, as we all know, but the ability for our midfielders, and forwards and backs to be fair as well, to shut down space quickly and cause a turnover is vital. Just the way they get across in numbers and just shut down that next kick, mark or handball is exceptional. So that's been a big strength of ours. Tiggs, I'll go back to you for the weakness for the back line, in your opinion.
Yeah, it's when we get that long. If they kick the ball on their forward's head, what I mean by that is we have great spoilers, but what can get us is if they can get a ball deep and high in the danger zone and it's on the top of their own forward's head. So if it's a taller forward, they'll just lift their hands up, and more often than not, we can spoil, but we can get marked against when they do that. So if they have a big power forward, that anchor's really deep and the long ball comes in and it's basically on their heads. They can mark it pretty easy. We defend the lead-up forward really well, but, yeah, it's that long ball in that we can have problems with. You know, we talk about Mason, I can play one game. Cox, he showed it. But, you know, you've had other forwards that have had a bit of a even Dixon, even though he only had a couple of games, a couple of goals, those goals he got was when the ball was basically directly on his head. If you isolate our defenders, but that's it. I'm not using that as a weakness because that's every defence. If you isolate any defenders one-on-one, they can get exposed.
Yeah.
But, yeah, our pattern has seemed to be, that long ball in, if it's kicked perfectly, can cause us a bit of issues. That'd be my take.
And what's the main thing you want to see the defenders do to improve on for finals?
For the back line?
Yeah.
Not giving forward 50 free kicks. That's my biggest one. Vlosten, I love him to death, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if he's an ex-captain, right? I'd be rat with it. But he shits me sometimes because he has that tendency to just do a lazy high tackle. Now, I know it's part of our intimidation to forwards, but we leak goals from it. I think we've leaked the most forward 50 turnovers from any side in the league. And yes, umpires are fucking stupid, but we bring it on ourselves. So that's what I want to see. If particularly finals, you can't afford to do that. Goals are at a premium. So, you know, defend strong, but you know, instead of going for the upper shoulders, pin the arms. And it was good to see that against Adelaide. It looked like we were trying to go in the attack each arm individually, so go more centre on. So if we can continue doing that, that's going to rectify that weakness. But, I want them to stop giving away forward 50 free kicks.
And who's been your shining light in defence for 2020? And if it's not Noah Bolter, disappear.
No. Yeah, it's not.
It's not?
It's not. No, it's not. You know what? Settle pedals, right?
I'm going to do a bloodbath on Tiggs 71.
Mate, settle before I take my slipper off, mate, and whack us again. All right, and the reason why it's not Noah, and I love Noah, and he's been great, right? He's been absolutely great, but it should not shine away his improvement on the epic year that Baker's had.
Right, I accept that. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, Baker, it's very quick and easy to go the flash in a pan because at the end of the day, Bolter, I don't think he's going to be a flash in a pan, but he hasn't played that many games in the back half. But Baker's put now a 2-year period of solid work. Not only does he defend in the back line, he supports the midfielders. And you spoke about Art, CB. How's against a Geelong game? They were pushing forward. Ratatogo, whatever his name is, kicked it. He kicked 2 goals, and we needed a champion to step up, right? And Dangerfield just got a really dangerous possession, and Baker pinches his pocket in the forward pocket, right, and ran off him, and then Jack Rewalt scored a goal. So I love Baker. He's, puts his head down. He doesn't mind. He lifts his teammates. You see how his teammates just absolutely love him. He absolutely lifts his teammates. He always goes in the hole. He's skillful, and he plays above his height. Now, Baker, for me, exemplifies why we're a grand final type side.
No, that's fair enough.
Can I just put one out there? And I know it's a Richmond podcast and we have a definite bias, but do you reckon Noah Bolter was stiff not to get in the top 40 AA?
Can I tell you something? Can I ask you a question?
I was more annoyed about Shea Bolton not getting in the under-22s, to be fair.
But I'm just saying, but if you look at the way Bolter's played, he's cleaned up a lot of big forwards.
He has.
Can I ask you a question? Why has Bolter not been nominated for the Rising Star?
Does he play?
He qualifies, doesn't he?
Oh, I'm not sure.
He hasn't played over 20. He hasn't played over, what is it? What's the cutoff? 27, 30 games?
No, I thought it was a lot lower. I thought it was like around the 10 to 15 mark.
Okay, so that's probably, and they're probably what discounts Shy Bolton, yeah?
Yeah, I think he would have played too many games
Yeah.
on the journey as well.
See, fuckers.
All right, I'll finish off the rest of the midfield ones. The weakness I've got for the midfield is we all know it, we get smashed in clearances. I know it's not something we focus on as a team. We don't tend to base our game around it. But against quality sides in finals, I reckon it could hurt us gifting the other team easy 450 entries, which kind of ties into what you were saying, Tiggs, about if they can get the ball in the right spot on top of their forwards' heads. We don't want them to have easy access to doing that. And part of the one wood of our game is being able to limit those kind of 450 entries, but from a clearance perspective, we just get belted too often. The main thing I want to see us improve for finals ties into the above. I don't necessarily care or want us to win more centre clearances because that's probably not realistic with our setup. I want us to at least halve the centre bounce contest to force a secondary stoppage so we can set up a bit better behind the ball and then we can start again, because stoppages around the ground I think we're pretty elite at, by contrast to centre bounce stoppages. And the shining light for 2020 has to be Shea Bolton. I think I know he's premiership player last year, but for 2 years now a lot of us have known that his best foot has been as a midfielder. And even though it come about due to some random circumstances and some injuries and COVID and all that kind of stuff, his shift to the middle has been an absolute highlight for us. He's slick, evasive, clean, quick. He's got X factor. He just needs to work on staying in the game for longer periods, but that will no doubt come. And like we sort of said earlier, I'm looking forward to seeing him and Edwards in the same side.
Just on that clearances, in finals, we generally do that, what you've asked. We always either win or match them, more often than not. I think if you go back statistically, with all the finals games that we've played, we generally do that. So, but yeah, no, fantastic. You're right about Shy.
He's been a freak. So that's our little season wrap up so far. All right, well, I might bring forward your trade update / Jack Graham news. I've got to duck out for 30 seconds on baby duty.
Yep.
But yeah, carry on. And
what about CB? He hasn't done weakness of his line.
I kind of did. No, we're all covered. We're done.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm good.
Okay, I'll do the Jack Graham stuff. I'll do the Jack Graham stuff now, right? Let me just bring it up. Hold on. Make sure I say it verbatim for those that haven't seen the post that I put up. Give me a second, guys. Give me just one more second. Yeah, it won't be long. Won't be long. Okay.
So, here we go.
All right. Okay. So about 3 weeks ago, right, I got really bullish that, he's staying. Don't stress, right? Prior to that, I was hearing that Adelaide was throwing the kitchen sink at him to bring him across. And I thought, we might even trade him. And then it sort of evolved to, you know what? And this is middle part of the year. And then towards, obviously, a few months ago, no, he's obviously showing his worth. I personally wanted to keep him. But, I wouldn't be surprised if he left. But then 3 weeks ago, I got told basically, no, he's told Adelaide, no, not interested. So I got really bullish that he's staying, and I'm still very, very bullish that he's staying. Now, I've got some updated news today. I posted it on the forums too, so it's there on text. I'll just give you the short version, but if you want to read it, you can go ahead and read it. Basically, what happened was we've had a few clubs sniffing at him. Probably the main two was Adelaide, obviously, and then Carlton came in into the picture as well, particularly as his form's improved and all that sort of stuff. So when he said no to Adelaide, I thought, okay, how great's this? And then Carlton's come in and basically increased their offer by like 30, 40%. They're offering stupid money. They're going to deny it, but I know it's $600K plus, and it's with 4 years. So that's a lot of money if you put in the factor that he's only getting paid around about $250 with us. Now, we're going to offer him, what I got told was, he's going to get a bigger deal, obviously around about $450 mark. The reason it's not been signed off yet, obviously, it was close to, in the sense of both sides agree. This is before the Carlton came through, but everything's waiting till the AFL comes in with exactly what the salary cap's going to be and what the list sizes are. That's really important for clubs like ours, unlike your crap clubs like North, because for us, we've got players that are on long-term contracts already, right? So if we need to renegotiate their contracts to be able to fit other players in, It looked like we've done in years past. We can't do that without knowing what the salary cap is, and that's what we'll be doing this year. Because we have to reward Shai Bolton. We've got the Rance money, yes, but we've also got, let's say, for example, Saad comes across, or another one of our targets come across. We've got to rejig, and all the players brought buy into this, right? Graham's got to be rewarded, all this sort of stuff. So, and we need to know what the cap is. So, I was happy as a pig in shit, but then, Carlton's offered what they've offered. My mate was who knows a lot of that, was really clear cut. And his reasons for me that he's still committed that he's going to stay is, one, obviously Jack's love for the club, particularly the brotherhood. That's the players around him. They're all like a family there. Little examples, with Cochin, giving him a Guernsey in 2019 after he, went out and played injured for us. That's the type of love, that respect that's between the two parties, obviously, that's there. He knows with us that he'll get developed correctly. Dim is huge. They've got like a father-son relationship. He respects him as he respects his own dad. He knows he's only 22, and 22 to 26 is crucial for any player, particularly a midfielder. You know what I mean? So, yes, he's going to get more money at Carlton, but will he develop at the same rate at Richmond? Will he win multiple flags that he's got a good chance to be doing at Richmond? There's a big question mark on that. Well, like Richmond, if he stays, he can still get a good wage. He can win 2 more flags. He can hit the 26 years, 4 years from now, 26 years of age. And then if he wanted to go, he's going to be, 3-4-time premiership player in his prime, trained by Prestia, Cochin, Martin, by the high quality, excellence around him. It's going to make him a really good player. And then if he wanted to leave, then he can get the mega dollars. Or except, yes, it's $150,000 more. It's $700,000 in the 4 years. Sounds like a lot. Then you got your tax and all that sort of stuff. But what happens if they don't make finals in 4 years? What happens if you're just a little bit better than what you are now in 4 years' time? And you wanted to leave? Do you reckon you're going to be getting the money that you're at Carlton at another club? No. So they're real things that he needs to think about. Also, too, our which is a big one, is our medical and conditioning staff. You got to keep in mind he's got chronic shoulders. We manage him perfectly. He's had that calf, really bad calf injury, which we've managed really, really well. The doctors know him. He knows them. So, yeah, short version, convinced he's still staying. There's a lot of positives with us at this time. It's because he's 22 now. If he was 26, or Martin when he signed, 26, 27, I would then be worried, right? Because he hasn't got much longer in his career to, settle himself. But, yeah, I reckon, the Blues will miss out. What I did here, I did a bit of digging on that Saad rumour. I gave it yes because they know each other and all this sort of stuff. I just thought it was just Ralph just bullshitting out to see what hits. I don't think it's going to happen yet. I'm not fully convinced on it. But from what I heard, there is definitely smoke there. I'm just waiting to see if it's not medium, sometimes rumours can take a life on their own. I'm just waiting on my other guy that would know that he's always right with names. So I haven't been able to get in touch with him yet. COVID makes things a little bit difficult, but when I do, I'll update everyone on the board if it's 100%. But my gut feel is I think there's something might be there. There's Essendon's in a really bad shape in relation culture and toxicity wise, but we all know that. As well, Perryman re-signed, which was disappointing. I was hoping, he might come across. But, look, we knew that. I don't think we're in the hunt with Crouch. We won't pay his paycheck. So there's that as well. So at that stage, Broad is Gold Coast. Like I said that ages ago, he's Gold Coast. Now, everyone's talking about that kid from – like I thought it was Staker. I can't even remember what the guy's name was now. Started with an S.
Tucker. Was it Sharp or Tucker? One of the two.
Sharp. It was Sharp.
Yeah,
Tucker's from Fremantle. It was Sharp. But it actually might be another name. Again, I haven't been told from my other bloke, but one of my sources is Brody might even be put in the picture. So which other people are mentioned on the boards that they would love to get and all this sort of stuff. Is that confirmed? No, I can't confirm it. But there's definitely a young kid coming across. I can tell you that it's 100%. It won't just be a draft pick. We want a kid. Right, and don't think we'll be doing a Butler. We're not interested in doing a Butler. Broad is a 22, right? Yes, he's been dropped. And really, I think he's been dropped more on management and giving other
I don't think
run.
it's because of the move. Not at all. We didn't do it, Ellison. It's not how we do things.
No.
It's structural.
Yeah, it's management, but it's also, I think, an eye on, look, if he's not there, let's get Markov games. And, because Markov got more upside than Broad as that type of player, if Hawley goes down or something like that. So there's that. But, he's definitely Gold Coast bound. 100% he's Gold Coast bound. They're also after a couple of our kids too, so don't be surprised. We might lose a kid. RCD's not in the – we're telling clubs to fuck off. And from what I heard today, RCD, 100% he's staying, right? We're really bullish about him. I know people want to see him playing. It's his body. We're giving his time to grow into his body. But he will be gobsmacked if he doesn't get games next year.
Has Soldo going down altered our plans in any way at all?
Yeah, originally I thought it did, right? Originally I thought, CCJ is 100% he's going to stay. He's 100% he's going to stay. He's contracted. Yeah, we'll keep him. I actually got a feeling that he might even be traded. I think Stack will be gone. Again, this is all hinges on when they have – I don't think we're concerning ourselves with it till after our finals campaign. And it'll probably – things can change. But I know it all hinges down on Hardwick and the leadership group making a decision. Now, they might have made it. I don't know. But the noise I'm getting is pretty strong. Stack will be traded out, and so will CCJ. That's still on the cards, very likely to happen. We will go to apparently this draft. Now, I don't know draft as much, but what I got told today was this draft is forward ruck heavy, so you can get forward rucks in this draft. And who knows with Sard? Maybe that explains our interest with Sard. If they've lost Bell Chambers, they're going to lose Danaher. CCJ becomes a bomber.
They lost McKernan as well, who's their other tall.
Well, there you go.
Cut him.
They got rid of him.
So there's obviously
there's a gap there that CCJ could fill.
There's obviously exactly. The other one that I'm a little bit worried on is the guy that I think would be absolutely Gary Ablett Jr., mate, if you're given an opportunity, is Naish. I'm hearing that he's being sniffed at by other clubs too, like particularly in Melbourne. But some of the interstate clubs like him too. So we might lose a kid or two, but. It's just going to be nature of progression, obviously, but we don't know really just the list size. That's what's, if the list is where we want it to be, we'll retain some of them.
Yeah.
But if the list is going to be reduced, then we're going to let some of them go. So, it's going to be interesting.
I reckon the clubs know now what that size is going to be. It's just not public yet.
That's right.
They would have to. There's too much forward planning that goes on at AFL land for them to not know. But
the mail I got, right, and I'm believing him because he obviously works in the industry. A lot of people believe that the cut's going to be spread between 2 to 3 years, so it's not all in one hit because there's contracts and the like that they have to go through with, and they really think that it might be reduced by 2 this year, and then 1 or 2 next year, and if they feel like the need, then it might be 1 or 2 the year after. That's how it might be working, but it might be 1 or 2 this year. It won't be any more. It won't be 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. It's not going to be that stupid. But that's what I got told, and I believe the guy who told me.
All right, fair enough. I thank you for that update. Much appreciated. And like always, we'll keep everyone in the loop once we hear more down the track. But I'm sure the club's main focus is the finals campaign ahead of us at this moment. We're going to do some listeners' questions now, and then we'll talk about the upcoming final. I haven't given you pre-warning about which ones I'm going to use here, so we're just going to wing it a bit, but that's okay. I'll open this to both of you because I haven't heard anything myself. But this is from Battle Oath on Twitter. Legends, what's the murmurs on the great man Barmy? Now there has been some stuff floating around about Barmy being scouted out by Adelaide and potentially going back to South Australia. Have either of you heard anything on this?
Well, from what I understand, he's happy in semi-retirement.
Yeah, I back up CV on that. A lot of that is, Adelaide needs someone, so they must, or Port Adelaide needs someone, they must. Barm is happy semi-retired. He knows once his COVID shit, he's got, the COVID shit's over and we're back in Victoria. He'll have a lot of input within the club. He won't be going anywhere.
All right, CB, I'll give you this one from Stephen M on Twitter. I've seen many people saying that Troll should be dropped based on his game from last week, I'm assuming. Surely he needs to stay in to give Nank a chop out in the ruck.
Stefan, hello. I agree. And I say this because Richmond's big on structure. and how we do things. And all year, we've wanted 2 big backs, which is Asprey and Bolter. We want 2 rucks, which was Soldo and Nankervis, but now it will be Nankervis and
Chol.
big fella, Charlie. Yeah.
What his name?
Just yeah.
It's the
going
diabetes.
well.
Sorry, guys. Diabetes.
And also we've got the 2 big forwards in Lynch and Rewalt. So our structure is to play 2 rucks. And I guess this is the result of a kebab and looking at some tits. CCJ has blown an absolute golden opportunity through stupidity. So his stupidity has given Mabior Chol the golden ticket to a potential grand final. So go Choley. I agree. He's in.
All right, for Tiggs, this kind of ties into a little bit what you're talking about in your trade stuff. It's from Craig Cooper. Will the Egg Molesty Smith, will he be our long-term Hawley replacement when he retires, or should we look elsewhere? Good against pleb teams, but not sure he'll make it against the good sides.
Good evening, Craig, is it? His name's Craig? Yeah, Craig. Good question, mate. No, Egg's gone. Sorry.
Okay.
He's not going to be the Hawley replacement. If anyone's going to be that, it'd probably be Markov if we don't get Sard. No, he's too limited on one side. He's got no right shoe. A lot of work's been put in to try to give him 2 sides of his body. He's a good kid. He was a speculative pick. If you look back into his history when we brought him on board, so he's done really well for himself. But he's he won't be on the list at the end next year, I would think.
All right, CB, from one of your favourite tweeters, Suffering Succotash. Who will? Oh wow, the double, Jesus. Who will retire at the end of the year? Hawley, Rewalt. Do you reckon any of them are a chance to retire?
Look, I could be miles off it, but what I have heard is Basher Hawley will do whatever the club decides, if that makes sense. So I think out of the 2, Basher would be the one to possibly retire at the end of the year. Or, obviously we've got kids coming through that need game time, like we've discussed with Markovs of the world and all that type of stuff, or we get a Sard in. Jack Rewald, it's pretty clear he's going to want to go on for another year.
Yeah.
So I think out of the 2, Basher Hawley's the one, as much as it pains me to say it because I love Basher, he'd be the one.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'll put this to you both. We'll do this as the last one because a lot of the other questions that have come through kind of are based around the upcoming game and some selection things which we'll cover off. But this last one from Rhett Weeks, which opposition team do you think will cause us the most trouble in the final series? CB?
Weeksy, grow a set. How you going, buddy? I'm saying to you, none. We're going to cause everybody else problems.
Oh, look, I won't go that Fruit Loop type of prediction.
Coming from the bloke who's tipping 89-point margins during games.
See, I've told you, CB, mate, you've had the sugar foods, your diabetes has kicked in, your memory's failing, and now you get all this testosterone.
For God's sakes, Weeksy, have a crack. Come on, mate.
What I
cause them problems.
Look, for me, there's one side that I'm not worried about, but if they're on, they can really challenge us. And that's funny enough, even though I don't like them and I detest them as a football club, it's Geelong. The reason why is, look,
I just sort of vomited in my mouth a little bit.
I know, yeah, that's the diabetes. But if you just look at that first half, right, that they played yes, we came back and all that was great. But that first half, if we don't have with Geelong a mindset of pressuring the ball carrier extremely high, ramping up our pressure, like when we beat them in the home and away, our pressure was above 200. It was the highest pressure game we've played all year, even above West Coast. We need to do that with Geelong because if you don't do that with Geelong, they will cut us up. And they've got the weapons to do it in the forward line. So they're the only ones that I would have a slight concern with. I think we have their measure. We've proven that. But all the rest I don't rate. Our biggest adversary is ourselves, really. But, yeah, Geelong, to answer your question specifically, is the one I'd worry.
All right, thank you everyone for sending through questions. We'll make sure we do that again. And like I said, but we're about to answer a heap more that were sent through in our talk about the qualifying final. So we'll get stuck.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yeah.
If this coaching stuff doesn't work out for Chris Scott from Geelong, the look he's sporting right now, he's got a serious career afterwards in the adult film industry.
not sure there'd be many takers in that. I wouldn't have thought.
I don't know what type of porn you're watching, mate, but I don't watch porn that has middle-aged old men in it. Oh, jeepers, you guys in the country, mate. You guys are straight.
I don't want to reference the famous gif of him with the clown mouth open, but it kind of ties into where you're going with it. Okay, well, there's a possible future for him. Qualifying final against Brisbane coming up. We've obviously played them last year, so same, which is good. CB's lost it.
So is that a thing, CB? Pensioner porn? Is that what's like?
I'm going to find out.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, Davis.
Tune in next week for the results of that.
I'm sorry, I've just vomited a little bit in my coffee cup. That's disgusting. Now I can't get the vision out of my brain.
Qualifying final versus Brisbane. So
I've just got this vision of Brad Scott and Ken Hinkley with CB in the centre. Oh, joy. Just can't get rid of it.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, Michael's got it.
No, that's okay. Qualifying final versus Brisbane. Same as last time. The Lions are going to be out for a little bit of redemption, given that we've touched them up. And it's funny when you read the preview.
Michael, we're going to smash them.
I didn't say anything. I said no. I said they're going to be out for redemption.
They've said it 15 times.
And if you look on the Brisbane board's preview thread, according to them, we haven't really beaten them that badly the last few times we've played.
Wait, can I say this? Sorry, I've got to say this to any Brisbane line flogs, right? Because I know you can't read, right? And you're all Pauline Hanson inbred, please explain type people, right? So you need to understand this, right? The reason you're inaccurate, right? Just get this through your fucking skulls. 2 reasons. The first reason is we push you wide, right, because of the way you play. We're happy for you to get, Lockie Neal, Mr., I don't love the tough stuff. Mitch Robertson, who can only kick it forward because he's a spastic and can't hit a target. You got your Hugh McCluggage,
Eric Hipwood,
all these
blancmange in a jumper.
You love to go down the wings. You love to go wide because we do not allow you the corridor. When we allow you the corridor, you're dangerous, so we don't allow you. So we let you play your Brisbane football, inverted commas, and so you do an inside 50. It's always wide, and you can't score from that because most sides can't. The second thing is when you do get a shot on goal, you generally have a Richmond player all over you when you're kicking it. So they're the 2 reasons why your scoring is Scheissenhausen against the Tigers. So please, don't give me – and we've beaten you. What was it? Fucking 60 points, 40 points.
Just crept over the line there.
They haven't beaten us since 2004, for fuck's sake.
Remember round 23?
Where are they going to do this?
On that
year?
CB, does that worry either of you? Dolzy T put up a bit of a thing that all it means is they're one game closer to eventually beating us.
No.
Oh, yeah.
You know what?
It's like an Iron Maiden lyric. Every minute you're dying. Bullshit. Yeah. You want to take the crown? Come and take the crown, boys. But I'll give you the not this year.
That would bother me if we were playing consecutive games all the time, right? Then that would have some merit. But we're not. We have big gaps in our games that we play. So each game's separate to itself, right? That's how I sort of see it. But yeah, no, Brisbane, to me, their major problem is, right, if we have a look up, right, their key 3 matchups is Charlie Cameron. He's a good forward, right? He is. But he can't handle pressure. If you apply physical pressure on him, and if you're on his hammer, he goes to fucking water. Eric Hipwood, he can't kick straight, right? And again, here's another one. If you body
his cockeyed,
it's
the body of a teenager.
Well, he's too easily bodied out of the ball. He hasn't got much of a tank, so if he tries to run, get that burst, to get clear by running, he's stuffed when he gets the ball. And then you got Lockie Neal. Now, Lockie Neal is just a younger version and a slimmer version of Mitchell from Hawthorn.
Yeah, he's a sheepdog.
He's a sheepdog. He's what Cotchin was in the start. We used to get the 1-2 touches. So they're their weapons. Look, they have quality players, right? But they're very much like Port in my mind. If they're playing up against a side that's easy, in relation, they've got a more talent than them, they generally will blast them out of the park. See, what Brisbane's biggest weakness is with us, if they want to win tomorrow on Saturday when we play them, if I was Fagan, I would...
Next Friday.
No, Friday, sorry. If I was Fagan, I would do what the shit teams do with us. I would flood the fuck out of us, right? That's what I would do and recognise that we're not at our level. But he won't. He will do what West Coast, he'll do what Port will do, he will do what Geelong has done. He will take us on and he will lose, right? So, no.
You know what Charlie Cameron reminds me of? Have you ever played sport with the kids that when they're losing, they're perennially injured, they're limping and they're in pain and they're slow to get off the ground? But I give you the tip. All of a sudden, when they're 5 goals up, they're revving the motorbikes and they're running around and high-fiving the crowd. He cannot. I'll tell you something, Charlie Cameron, he does not like you said, he does not like it physical. And I'm telling you, he's a bit banged up at the moment and he cannot play injured. He's one bloke. He's like Ablett. Right. He has to be 100% fit to be effective. And he's got any slight niggles, and I'm telling you, he's bloody borderline worthless. And he'll be checking under his bed every friggin' night for Dylan Grimes. It's fantastic.
Keep an eye out from a sneaky tweet from me later on that topic. It's a pretty good one. I've had to get Lauren to do up a Photoshop job for me again. Keep an eye out for it. Speaking of other injuries, Harris Andrews is, from what I can tell, is going to play, coming back from a major hamstring injury, which I don't know if he's a week ahead of schedule or 2 weeks ahead of what the go is. Either way, it sounds risky on their behalf, but I can understand why they have to take that risk. But do you think he's going to be able to have the same impact on the contest if he's not at 100%?
I don't
Please
think
play him, Brisbane.
Look,
Please play him.
Yeah, his ability. Look, he's a good defender, right? He is. He's a high quality.
He's a good intercept marker. Good intercept.
It is, yeah. But we stuffed Mitch McGovern, who's also a great. We've got the game style to ruin intercept markers, right? And one thing an intercept marker needs is a bit of burst speed, right? So he's going to be doing a lot of repeat sprints. We won't allow him to do it. He's not going to have that mobility. So I would just plop a lynch on him and just run him up and down, move, or jack even. And if he doesn't want a man, either of those two will bust him open. They're a bit panicky. I think it's a lot of arrogance from Fagan too. He seriously believes that they could beat us because he's sort of Port and Ken Hinkley's a bit smarter, right? I think he knows where his side's at, though. He needs to save his job, and if he didn't have a really great year this year, that's why winning the minor premiership was really important to him, and he's made such a big deal about it. When we did it in 2018, we couldn't give a fuck, but apparently it's a really big thing in 2020. But Fagan have had a dream run. They've hardly left Brisbane. Yes, they've travelled sometimes, but their majority of games has been at the Gabba, right? And they're sleeping in their own beds and all that sort of great stuff, right? They're going to come out to us as full offence. That's what they'll do, full offence. And if we allow them to get away with that, that'll be fine. My concern is that if we go physical at them, the umpires will get into the game. But hopefully in finals, it's paid it out. We generally get the best of the umpires. But what really worries me, the umpires have been so shit consistently the whole entire year, who's going to be rated the best? I've got a feeling that we might get a bit crucified in the free kick count. That's actually going to hurt us on the scoreboard. But I can't see them beating us. They don't have the weapons to beat us. They don't have the forward line to beat us. I'll ask you this question, boys. Right, and try to be as unbiased as can. Forward line or forward line, which one's the better? Richmond or Brisbane?
Richmond.
Well, we've got two big power forwards who can actually play at a high level consistently.
Richmond?
His last month has been very off.
Yeah, so that's Richmond? You'd say Richmond Michaels?
Yeah, I'd say Richmond, yeah.
Okay. Back line. Who's got the better back line?
Richmond's the best defence in the league.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yep.
Midfield. Now, keep in mind midfield with Cochin. We're going to finally have a full complement. Cochin, Prestia, Graham, Shai Bolton, Edwards. I'm forgetting another one.
Did
you say Dusty? Did you miss him?
No, I forgot Dusty. And Dusty.
Jesus Christ.
I'll actually give Brisbane the nod there because we lost Soldo.
Stefan's a good ruckman.
Yeah, you're including Stefan. But I've got Nankervis. I don't think he's any better than Nankervis.
I'd be happy to say we would at a minimum break even at that front.
Yeah. So for me, where I disagree with CB, I reckon Chol should not play, right? Because if he shirks contests in a final, we can get exposed, right? What I would do is I'd bank Nankervis can ruck the whole game on his own at 16-minute quarters. I'm sure he can. We can give him the odd chop out by throwing a Brewald, in there or throw
No,
in.
you don't. You don't.
No,
you don't
no.
put fucking Porsches
No,
in.
no,
Horse paddocks.
we put him in up. We put Rewalt in the centre square before,
No.
or even put like a caddy in there or someone in there, right?
Get
Caddy
K-Mac
won't
in
be
there.
playing.
Anyone, K-Mac, he can do anything, right?
He's played footy. No,
Mate.
don't mess with the structure. We've played.
You
two
know what I
rucks
would
all
do?
year.
I would put another runner in. I'd do like an offensive runner, like I'd pop in a Markov.
You like that bloody, you like that mad scientist beaker dude in the Muppets,
Yes.
mixing beakers and shit and blowing
Yeah.
things up. Don't
Nah,
mess
but you know
with
what?
the system.
He fucking found the formula for gold, mate. That's what I'm trying to do, mate. I'm trying to give you, but you're just fixated on, Chris Scott fucking in a middle-aged porno, and I'm trying to help you out. No, seriously, if we can, I reckon Nankervis can ruck the whole game. That's me. I'm bullish on Nankervis because he's his tank and all that sort of stuff, right? And they've got Big O. They've pushed into the forward line, right? They're ruckman. So they've been playing their, I think they call him Big O, but he's been playing more forward than ruck, right? So, and he will smash Chol if we put him in there. With Brisbane, you need big-bodied rucks, right? Unfortunately, we don't have it. I might even say put Bolter in the ruck.
No,
or even
stop.
pop Asprey in the ruck.
Pull a ripcord, chiller. Pull a ripcord.
You got to be creative. All right, look, I'm trying
No, you
to...
don't. No, you don't. You don't have to be
Okay.
creative. You just
So you're
roll
gonna
with
put
what works.
So you're going to put Chol. How do you know Chol works in the ruck?
Because he's rucked against Nick that and those guys before and done quite well.
He got 2 hit-outs on the week,
Sure.
just a week. He got 2.
Yeah, that's okay, but he's playing a different role. He's playing on tail. He played more forward than the other thing. We were missing Lynch.
Okay.
So we will have a different structure again. I'm just telling you, maybe. Just relax, baby.
We've
Chris
got-
Scott's got you.
we do
Just
have-
relax. Chris Scott's got you, baby.
I'm so
Rubbing you
relaxed.
back.
I'll have one.
We do have some other selection dilemmas, and this is the big question that people are kind of asking at the moment, each other and us. Bolton, Lynch, and Prestia all are pretty much certain to come back in. So there's a couple of questions on this front. Is Prestia coming back in for his first game since round 5 or whatever it was? Is that a risk being a final, or do we back him in?
Back him in.
So okay. So this is the question that plays in my mind with regard to Prestia right now. Do you take a 70 to 80% fit Prestia into this game, or do you take a 100% fit Jack Ross
All right.
and have him?
My answer to that, mate, is do you trust the club's coaching and development staff? Because there's no way we would play a player that's 70 to 80% fit. There's just no way.
The big unknown for me is none of us have really heard how Prestia went in that. Did he already play a scratch match, or is going to this weekend?
It's coming up this weekend.
It's this weekend.
So he's gotten zero form at the moment.
No, he had a scratch match last weekend.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
No, he's only back running.
No, he had a scratch match last week
There was
with
a scratch
Asprey.
match. I'm not sure.
Whatever it was a. Did you see the image of him?
He was training. He's back training with the group.
Have
he
you
hasn't
seen-
played a scratch match.
You seen how thin and ripped the kid is?
He's
Normally
meatball.
he's
He's a big
meatball. Right? He doesn't look a meatball. He looked to me fucking taut and terrific. Right?
So
I'm sure
let's just-
he's in ripping Nick, but I just for me personally for this game, I would actually back Ross in.
All
and
right.
get meatball closer again to 89%, and give him a couple of more scratch matches and get him good to go for the prelim. That's sort of where, or the next final. That's sort of where my head's at. I'd back Jack Ross in this next match.
I completely disagree.
How dare you?
I disagree.
I would seriously get my gloves and slap you across the face right now. And we would duel at dawn.
Mate,
How dare you?
You're lucky I'm not allowed to travel to regional Victoria, mate. That's all I can tell you. No,
Yeah, I'll build a wall.
But I will actually not. I would put pressure in, but I would put Ross in the interchange, right? So I wouldn't. 'Cause I would actually replace Caddy for Prestia if that makes sense. So I would bring Prestia in. In the midfield, he's our starting 6. Ross is in interchange, and when Prestia needs a break, we can inject Ross into the game. That's what I'll be doing. So we can get Prestia because he's not match conditioned yet. So he needs that match conditioning because we need him for the preliminary final.
So
we need him to be on his
That's my point.
So
He won't get that. He won't get that in the scratch match.
Well, look at Edwards and Asprey. Asprey
Yeah,
played 45 minutes.
Yeah, but Edwards had training with
Whole
Ablett
time.
and fucking Canterbury for fucking a month. Well, no,
Yeah.
2.5 weeks. Prestia hasn't had that. So
See my outs for this game. I've got Caddy out with a knee, And believe it or not, as much as I've been raving about this bloke, if he's not right, I've actually got Arts out with a shoulder.
He did look properly at the end, didn't he? But nothing's been reported.
No, that's right. But I've got Lynch. So I've got Lynch coming in for Caddy, and I've got Bolton coming in to replace Arts. They're the only two changes I'm doing to the team. For me personally, that's what I would do.
Okay, so say if we assume that Arts is fit, what does that change your other out to? Because you'd obviously keep Arts in, I imagine.
I didn't want to think about that. Probably not. Probably has to be Jack Ross.
Okay, so if it comes down to it, it's Bolton for Ross if Arts is fit.
Correct.
Okay, and Tiggs, what are your changes?
Yeah, I'm bringing pressure in. I think we just need to, particularly with a mind for the preliminary final, get him match condition, get his confidence up. It's just no brainer for me. Unfortunately, that means Ross has to get out or go on an interchange. I would bring. Ross is out. I would bring in Lynch. That's a no-brainer. Chol will be out for Lynch. And then I bring Shai Bolton in, and Caddy will be out. That gives me the reason why I like that is our midfield will be stacked with speed and talent. We can rotate it, we can change it. Our forward line has a lot of X factor to it. But the one thing for me with Ross, because I really want him to stay in the side, I was even thinking to dropping if Arts is fit, right? If his Arts is fit. I hate to say because I love him, but I go, Riola, you're out. So Riola...
He's forming what he's been doing under his pressure and that, mate. He's not, I'm telling you, he's not going anywhere. Him and Castagna, their magnets are liquid nailed to the board.
Yeah, I know, but I reckon with Arts lifting his game to another level, we've got Lambert now with Edwards in, can create pressure on the half forward flank as well. We've got Lynch back in. Unfortunately, someone of quality's got to lift out to get quality in. That's our depth.
Yeah.
How crazy good, you know what I mean?
Isn't that funny? I've got that written. I was going to do that in my joke with my ins. I had it in brackets. That's crazy. I was going to do the crazy good thing. You just stole my line. How dare you?
Mate, great lines and everything.
It's fair income.
All right, we'll finish up with getting a tip from everyone. I know we're a week out and we don't even know who the actual changes are, but we'll do it anyway.
Breaking on late Twitter. We've got another in. We've actually got a selected in.
What do you mean?
You wouldn't believe it. Chopper Reed is coming in to take out Mitch Robinson and Lockie Neal.
Chopper Reed.
Yeah.
Chopper Reed.
He's back from the dead. He's making a comeback.
Chopper's coming in. Yeah. Woo, scary times there, Mitch.
Mitch Robinson. Have a shit one, mate. So we'll go some tips for this one. CB?
Oh, look, I've been talking us up, but I would think 4 to 5 goals, in all seriousness. I think we're that much of a better team than them.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I agree. Yeah, 4 to 5 goals. I actually got a feeling this could get really ugly on them as well. I think they're going in with this fantasy in their mind that they're a better side than us. You read the Brisbane supporters, they actually believe they're a better side than us, even though this side has done nothing. Let's repeat. Fagan, you've won nothing in the past 3 years. You've not won a final. You haven't done anything. You've just won a couple of home and away games. Good boy. I think they're going to get their bubble burst. With them, if we can convert, and we can convert early, if we can do the repeat, you know how they jumped us in the first quarter? Yeah. If we can do that first quarter to them, we'll win by 10, 12 goals.
They will. If we get 3 or 4 quick ones on the board, and I reckon we'll go out for a hard and fast start. If we get 3 or 4 quick ones on the board and they miss their opportunities, so say it's like 3 goals, 1 to 2 points, all hell will break loose with them. They will shit their pants.
Yeah.
Nothing sure.
All right, and I think what you said off-air, Tiggs, is pretty much spot on. They're poking the bear with these bullshit snide comments they're making in the media, and it's not a good idea for them to do that because we're going to come out with that same steely resolve we had against West Coast, against Geelong, and even Adelaide for that matter. And I think, that 4 to 5 goal mark will be about right, and the boys just won't let this one get away.
What do you reckon the theme of the game will be with Hardwick? Do you reckon Hardwick will ignore this? One thing about Richmond, the jumper not hitting the floor, the pride, the brotherhood that they have. I reckon he'll be talking about, how much do you love your brothers on your left and the right of you? Well, if you do, humble this side. He's probably never.
He makes it about us. He doesn't. He never makes it about the other team. This is more of a supporter thing, I suppose. We want him to get him because of the shit that they've said in the media, but. from a coaching perspective, I've got no doubt that won't even be mentioned. The players might mention it to themselves in their little WhatsApp groups and whatever, but Dimmer won't use that as motivation.
But see, the thing is for me, 99.9% times I would agree with you, but he's never. That's what I was about to say. He never played that card before. So what a game to play that card. You know what? It's about us, our pride. This is a mob who actually think they're better than us. What's your answer to that?
Yeah,
fair
enough.
Play.
I can see, I see your point there.
Yeah, so see how we go.
All right, thank you so much for your time, gents, and to everyone, hopefully we can all watch it and get the boys over the line. Not sure if we're doing a live call on this one just yet, for anyone who is wondering, but we'll update everyone as it gets closer if we are or not. And to all the fans up there in Queensland who do get to go, good luck, and hope you all get tickets and make some serious noise for us all. So until next time, thank you, gentlemen, and go Tigers.
And we all know what CB will be watching as soon as we finish this podcast.
Good evening, everybody.
Enjoy that, CB.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Richmond Big Footy Tiger Cast. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and YouTube so you can follow all the roast and toast, the reviews and previews, and all topics Richmond. Also keep an ear out for our special episodes of interviews with past players. Go Tigers.